in Jerusalem. How do we know that? From the Pseudo-Clementine recognitions. After James was injured on the Temple Mount, the people, James's followers, carried him out of the temple and took him to his home in Jerusalem, where they passed the night, and then they carried him down to Jericho the next morning. Now that's from a different testimony, and I assume James did have a home in Jerusalem, and I assume Mary lived with him. So in the book of Acts, what do you have? When Peter escapes from prison and leaves the country because the guard is executed, or some things happen in the altercation or whatever. He goes to Jerusalem. I don't know how he got up there so fast, wherever he was in prison, but anyways, he goes up there and he goes to Mary, the mother of John Mark's house, to leave him, and in that way Acts introduces John Mark, whoever he is, another of these multiplication of characters. But I would think that he goes to leave a message for James and the brothers. That's what Acts says. And that's the real James, because the other James has already been executed by Herod, the tetrarch, with the sword, or Herod the king with the sword at the beginning of that chapter. So the other James, whatever it is, it can't be the other James. So it's the first mention in Acts, it's around Acts 10 or 11, of James, the brother of Jesus. Now, look, why would you go to the home of John Mark, Mary, the mother of John Mark, and that's now a fourth Mary? You're getting a multiplication of Marys, that's a multiplication of James's, multiplication of John's. This happens in literature as it spins off one narrative to another. Why would you go to Mary, the mother of John Mark's house, to leave a message for James and the brothers? I would think you would go to Mary, the mother of James' house, to leave a message for James and the brothers. So I just cite that as another possible proof, not possible, an echo that James had a house in Jerusalem. That's all I can make of this John having a house in Jerusalem. And I don't even know this is often called John the priest, the one who wrote the Apocalypse. This is often not John the son of Zebedee. I have no idea about all this, and I don't think anyone else does either. Okay. So the veil of the temple was rent after Jesus cried this out and gave up his ghost. And the body of the saints that had fallen asleep were raised. That's very much in the Pseudo-Clementines, the tomb of the two brothers who had fallen asleep. Now a centurion. Oh, here we go with the good centurions again. That they were watching Jesus. They saw an earthquake, and the things were done, fearing exceedingly. Truly this was the Son of God. Why is he the Son of God? Just because magical things occur, he's the Son of God? In any case, what's a centurion doing acknowledging a revolutionary crucified person as the Son of God? I mean, it's good for Hollywood, and Hollywood's made hundreds of movies about these things. The robe, the crucifix, so all kinds of movies about these things with the good centurions. But I don't think there were any good centurions. These were professional soldiers. They're not bad, they're just tough, brutal men. And they're not easily, but here again is the attempt to conciliate the Roman audience. Particularly Roman soldiers were interested in cults, the Mithra cult and a lot of other cults. Again, it's an attempt. Even Roman soldiers recognize Jesus, but his own people can't. I reject that. I think that is a slur. I know it's a common slur, everyone accepts it, but I think that's an historical slur which has done its work. The Jews are stubborn, the Jews are stiff-necked, the Jews don't like their own messianic leaders, the Jews kill their own messianic leaders. Well, maybe the Greeks killed Socrates, but I'm not aware of the Jews killing their own messianic leaders or their own prophets as the further libels continue, or the Jews celebrating the death of their messianic. I just think that all is part of the same libelous material thought up by Greek minds and imposed on the narrative in Palestine. Again, where is the story of historicity? I don't know. You'll have to choose it. Okay, so the Roman centurion recognizes Jesus. You know, this really mounts up until it's really heavy. Now here, look who's watching this situation. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Joses, and it's not clear if she's also the mother of the sons of Zebedee, or if the mother of the sons of Zebedee is a different Mary. Mark has Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James the Less, well, that would be James Alphaeus, James the brother of Jesus, all the time being camouflaged because they don't want you to think that James's brothers have the same mother as Jesus. That's what's going on here. And because over in Luke, what was it? Mary, the wife of Clopas. We're getting all the actual biography of Mary right here. She's the wife of Clopas, and she's the mother of the other brothers. Anyway, in one narrative, she's the mother of James and Joses, obviously two of the brothers of Jesus. Or James the Less, to putting him down, because the greater one was James the son of Zebedee. That's already, the multiplication of James's has already moved forward. And Salome. We know, therefore, I think at one point we know that Jesus has a sister, at least one, and many other women. In any case, the centurion in Luke 47 glorifies God. Well, I'm glad he did. Certainly this was a righteous man. Oh, another one. Pilate's wife recognizes him as a righteous man. Herod the Tetrarch recognizes John the Baptist as a righteous man. The centurion recognizes Jesus as a tzaddik. The most precious concept of the Jewish people now put in the mouths of the enemies of the Jewish people. The tzaddik is the most precious concept of the Dead Sea Scrolls, of Kabbalah, of the Zohar, of just of everything in Jewish culture. And now we have these things. Now look here. So now it was the day of the coming Sabbath. I'm going to try to hurry here, and I'm not doing very well here. I should have done this first, and like I was going to do at the beginning of this class. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the people. This is in John 19:32 and so on. And when they came to Jesus, they saw he was already dead. But they pierced his side, and blood came out, not water. And you have to look at some Psalms for this. I think it's Psalm 34. Huh? We have 34:20, but I also think there is another one. In any case, you have to look at those Psalms. Not a bone of him shall be broken. All of these are misquoted. Again, to fulfill Scripture, I don't know where the bone of him shall be broken, but if you can find me that Psalm, I'll show you that's a totally Zionist Psalm again. Yeah, what's...
When they pierce the side, isn't that to keep them alive? Because that's the water in there would cause them to drown.
All I'm trying to say is that most of these things are taken out of an attempt to take passages out of Psalms and apply it. Most people see it as the opposite. The thing happens and then the Psalm is done. I have to hurry along, so I can't answer your question on that. But if someone could find me the